So I think we're live, guys, and we're yellow. This camera is a mess. How are you doing? It's over. Twin Peaks season 3, or not even season 3. It's Twin Peaks: The Return. And what can I say? I'm not gonna say much. I'm waiting for you guys to start talking. Um, it's been intense. Let's just put it that way. What do I have here? I have my sheriff's shirt. Twin Peaks Sheriff's Department. We got Cooper. Joe Wood, season 4, here we go. Hi, Joe. Hey, Invisible Girl 422. How you doing, Debbie, sweetie? Gary. Gary says total crap. Okay, Melinda. Hi, Jacob. Looking good in plaid. Yes, and look, guys. Sheriff's Department of Twin Peaks. Meek says hi. Hi, Jacob. Hi. Hi, everybody. Okay, I'm going to try to put this a little bit here because always it's the Funko Pops. You know what the funny thing is? It's the Funko Pops that create the blue illusion. So basically, when I set up my camera and I get it all like tested on the camera, it's all good. But then once I switch to YouTube, YouTube fucks it up because that's what YouTube does. It makes everything turn yellow instead of blue, as it should. So that's why you're going to have a little bit of earthquake, reminiscent of electricity problems and complications type of camera movement right now. This is really not good, guys. We have to have him here in order for me to be blue. Otherwise, I'll be yellow. Isn't that fun? Okay, anyway. Let's just be yellow for now. So, what can I say? Debbie says, yes, me too. Twin Peaks made me wicked pissed, LOL. Gabriela says, hey, group hug too. Gary says, Bob was killed by a green latex glove. By the way, I have, yes, Debbie, I agree, Melinda. Look, guys, I have even the champagne. I have everything ready, but I'm just not in the celebration mood. Joe says hugs to Joe. I'm just not like, bleh. I don't know. It feels like nothing went the way it should have gone. I don't know. Am I the only one who's so disappointed? Let me know. Let's put him here. Maybe I'll turn blue. Probably not. Cooper's taking up a lot of space, but now we're blue. Melinda says not celebration mood either. I mean, guys, I don't know what to tell you. Like, tell me something. Talk to me. Melinda was not happy. Debbie says, what is there to celebrate? Eileen says, what about Audrey? Nothing. We got nothing about Audrey. We got... I mean, listen. Okay, speculations for the future maybe. I don't know. But why would... From the beginning, why would, from the get-go, Lynch, Frost, Showtime, why would they all say, okay, this is a limited time release series, it's an 18-episode thing, then it's over. And then, you know, you don't have to give us closure. It's a Lynch production, Frost production, so leave some sort of cliffhanger. That's fine. But don't do it this way if you're never going to continue the story. You just opened up... Actually, no, you didn't open up anything. Everything is the way it was before. Everything, to me, right now, is just like it was at the end of season 2, except, okay, Laura is alive, kind of. Which we suspected was going to happen anyway, and we predicted it already, but Cooper is acting weird again. You know, Bob went back to... Well, Bob's ball exploded. Bob was... Oh, spoiler alert. But the spoiler alert is mentioned in the title, so you have been warned before you click this video. Bob is in... Well... Bob exploded. The green glove hit him. Freddy kind of made Bob's ball explode. But as Cooper puts the ring on Evil Cooper, on Mr. C's finger, Mr. C disappears, should appear in the Black Lodge, but he doesn't. We just see the ring fall. But there is no doppelganger Coop appearing in the Black Lodge, so that's something that left me kind of thinking, so where is he? And then when the good Cooper kind of, you know, takes his 315 key underneath the Great Northern, why would the 315 key open up a room in the undergrounds of the Great Northern if that was his own hotel room key. But anyway, so once he enters that space, he kind of transforms. And once he's driving back with Carrie, aka Laura, back to Twin Peaks, he seems to be Mr. C all over again. He doesn't talk much. He's very focused. Almost feels like he has those black eyes again. So I felt like something is off, something is wrong. So maybe we have the doppelganger Coop again in the end, and no news about Audrey again as season 2 ended. Yeah, I don't know. I shed no tear in this episode. I didn't feel much, to be honest with you. Super strange. I mean, we all caught up with the fact that Naito was gonna end up being Diane. Diane seeing her double while Cooper goes to get the key to the motel where they will consume their passion and their love. She sees her double and doesn't react to it in the same way she didn't react when in South or North, where were they? Buckhorn. In one of the vortexes areas where Ruth Davenport's body was found. The same way Diane, the Bob, white-haired Diane, did not react to one of the woodsmen entering the police car, she also in the same manner did not react to seeing herself doubled as she's waiting in the car for Cooper to come back with the key to take them to the motel room. And then that entire love, I wouldn't call it love. Maybe for her it was love. It was a very long scene. He did not show much emotion. She showed more emotion than him. I don't get it. Gary says, where's Billy? Well, Billy, a lot of people speculate that Billy was actually William Hastings. So he's dead. Debbie asks, why did Diane cover Coop's face? She was squishing it more than covering it. She was more like... So, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to, out of frustration... Like, Laura, what happened to you, Laura? I love her little pose here. This is all overlit. Look at her little pose. This is me after season 3, like... Okay. Melinda, do you still have your guzzle on, even though... I'm going to open it anyway. Out of desperation. John says, what happened to Shelley's daughter? We don't know. They didn't care to tell us. Gabriella, that sex scene was awful, yeah. Tommy says, so how many Lauras did she give? More than Jade? How many Lauras did she give? Rides, you mean? Melinda, oh yes. Ryan, it is more satisfying if you just think of 17 as the end. Yeah, or 16 as the end, actually. I think 16 was the last episode for me. Melinda says, let's get tipsy. Will make us feel better. Yeah, Tommy, Laura rides. Oh, God. And oh, yeah, and by the way, that, like, Cooper really... I say for 7, all Lynchian sex scenes are uncomfortable. Except the one with Janie E. and Cooper was super hilarious. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was just super funny. Debbie says, okay, white wine, but not champagne. Whatever. It is what it is, girls and guys and gents and ladies. I got this for the special occasion I thought it was going to be. But listen. Wait, now I forgot what I was talking about. Melu Marsa, hi, sweetie, how you doing? So disappointed. I know. And listen, who was Judy? Oh, yeah, well, we wrote the name. Judy, what does Gordon tell us? The name. So I presume, okay, Zhao Day. So for 25 years, Gordon has kept something from Albert. Briggs showed the discovery to Coop and Gordon. The evil entity called Zhao Day, renamed Judy. Cooper tells Gordon, if I disappear, do everything to find me. Ray was an informant of the FBI. Mr. C was looking for coordinates to get to Briggs. Bushnell talks to Cole, says, I'm honored for Sheriff Chu. Listen, so Zhao Day is the chubby bubble with the tiny little floppy ears. Was that Zhao Day? AKA the monkey from Fire Walk With Me. Okay, we're going to open this Moy. This is for you guys. We're going to drink this. Then... Okay. Ray is Magic Man, Tommy says. Yes. I'm feeling it. Okay, whoever has a drink, I mean, let's drink to this anyway. It is what it is, guys. Here's to an ending. Cheers, guys. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Debbie. Cheers, Melinda, sweetie. Cheers, everyone. Okay, we're just going to drink anyway. We're going to celebrate. I mean, we're not going to let this last episode ruin our fun. Drink champagne and sniff crack. No, we're not going to sniff anything. Mr. You know what? This makes me happy. So needed. Oh. Oh, you know what? Champagne as shots. So, it's very... Ryan said, I'll go get some tequila. Ryan, go. We got to drink. Only if you're of age, guys. Melinda, yay, champagne. Bubbles, bubbles. Bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. Remember Finding Nemo? I love the aquarium scene. Melu says, just terrible. Don't know if anyone agrees, but in my opinion, it was lackluster. Drink up. Cheers. Cheers, sweetie. Listen, it almost felt as if, I know it wasn't meant to be that way, but it felt as if Lynch just kind of gave up the last episode. It felt like giving up. Is Audrey in a mental hospital? Probably. We don't know. Lynch didn't care to let us know. Gary says, we are drinking our coffee and eating cherry pie. Then we are crapping it out and sending it to Lynch. No, don't be mean. You know, he must have had his reasons to do what he did with Mark Frost together. Obviously, they're both the masterminds behind all of this. But, you know, I'm just thinking, why go through all that effort of creating all those characters, all those storylines, everything we go through 16 episodes to then end it with as if none of that ever meant anything, you know? And Tommy says, Laura is the real story for this lore. Well, I get it. Laura is the one. Fine. And I mean, I thought it was really beautiful how they brought back the footage from Fire Walk With Me from the 90s. And having Laura, you know, that was genius to have her kind of talk to James and tell him, like, your Laura is gone. There's only me now. And then she looks up and sees Cooper from today in the background. It was beautiful, and you know, then they did it in black and white. Is it just me, or were some scenes inverted, like in terms of mirrored? I'm not so sure about that. Maybe a couple were, a couple weren't. A couple weren't for sure. Maybe a couple were. Eileen says, you were right about the last scene. TMZ leak, how it was revealed already, and here we are, right? That was so painful because I was like, oh God, it's leading up to that. Now we have Carrie, aka Laura, with Cooper in the car. They're going to end up going up the stairs to the Palmer house. Shit. We've seen this over half a year ago, and that's how it ended. Ugh. And then I'm like, Cooper, if you're so intelligent, the first thing you should be asking yourself in this new world or wherever you are is like, what year is it? You don't wait till the last second of the TV series episode to ask yourself what year it is. Obviously, it was a different year. But not just that, you have to think about this also, you know, the Tremonts. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but the lady that opens the door to Cooper and Carrie, aka Laura, at the end, John says, I think Ben was hearing Josie. Could be, you never know. But that humming sound, you know, was present when Cooper was opening that door in the cellar. We don't know where he was, of the Great Northern, with his 315 key. So the lady that opens the door, you know, it's so much time goes by and you're thinking like you could solve all of these issues, answer all these questions pretty quickly. So basically the lady that opens the door is not Sarah Palmer. Forever Fragrant Kid, hello everybody. Hi, how you doing, sweetie? Cheers, sweetie. Get your guzzle on. Okay. Woman, so what was the name asks her husband, and we don't see who the husband is. who was the name of the woman that sold us this house? And then I understood something like Mrs. Chalfont, and then Cooper says, you have to know who she bought it from. A woman says no, and then like she asks her husband, but doesn't know. And then Cooper's like, what is your name? And she's like, Alice Tremont. And Tremont is from Fire Walk with Me. Gabriella says Chalfont. Chalfont. Yeah, Chalfont. But her name is Tremont. And Tremont is the old lady with the young kid that keeps the cream corn in his hand and like a magician disappears. So it's Tremont. So wait, is it Tremont or Tremont? But is it the same name? Okay, Gabriella, you're very informed on the names there. Is that the same name of the old lady from Fire Walk with Me? With her nephew, the mini Lynch. Joe says, I understand the frustration, guys, but it opens the door to keep things going. I knew everyone would be upset, but do we want Twin Peaks to end? Everybody says, not answering to Joe, but everybody thinks it was the Tremont. That was the lady. Everybody says, yes, 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 I think so. It all happens just like that. Ryan says, yes, the old lady is called both Tremont and Chalfont. Chalfont owned the trailer that disappeared in Fire Walk with Me. So why are they both pre-owner and owner of the Palmer house in the past? Now, it's fine that that's a part of the plot line, but ask yourselves, if that were really the case in the past, unless the past wasn't altered from the moment on when Laura was saved by Cooper and didn't go to meet her death or her demise by the hands of Bob, maybe from that moment on, things have changed, and the Tremonts are in the house trying to rechange the past. Because I guess, depending how you see the Tremonts are, if they're evil or not evil, if she is evil or not evil, what does this mean for us? Does this mean that if she were to be evil, once Cooper put into motion with Briggs and all of them what he did and saved Laura, in fact, in the past, all of the evil entities might be now gathering their forces together to go even more back into the past and block Cooper from blocking them from killing Laura. So maybe now we have this sort of reality where the Tremonts are in the Palmer house trying to manipulate something again. Unless what we're seeing here is Cooper seeing beyond the surface and the superficial, and maybe Tremont was one of the entities inside of Sarah Palmer. And maybe when he knocks at the door and arrives to the Palmer house, he sees behind the facade of Sarah's face, he sees that creature inside of her. And indeed, we see the Tremonts in there, that could be also what is going down right now in the Palmer house. Because Laura, Carrie, does hear her mother yell her name, Laura, like in an echo, like from far, far, far away, as if she's from a parallel dimension, kind of calling through to this one, trying to reach out to Laura. So, everything is possible. Everything is open for a lot of speculation, a lot of different theories, possibilities. We could sit here for years and years and dissect each and every variable. And that's all good and fine. I mean, I'm happy for that. I'm happy that we get a chance to kind of think a lot, That's all great. And we're going to get some amazing theories. Some of you guys out there have the best brains in the world, and you concoct the most incredible theories. But nevertheless, I cannot help but feel disappointed for this sort of ending. I did not feel this way after season 2 ended. I loved the ending of season 2, and I also loved Fire Walk with Me. I was never disappointed by that movie. So, and yet season 2 kind of fails in season 3 failed in terms of certain character plots and lines, because what happened to the glass cube in New York, for example? Oh, I need to drink. Anyway, I could blabber all night long. I mean, Cooper does state after Bob is killed, we're all living in a dream. He repeats the Monica Bellucci sentence. So And then he says, from this moment on, things will change. He warns everybody that everything will change. We are warned that everything will change, and everything does change. And the new Twin Peaks is Odessa, the city of Odessa, and the new Double R Diner is Judy's place, and since Judy is this evil entity. Okay, let me read your comments, guys. And there's a lot of them. Same thing happens to Donna Hayward. What? Oh, I don't know what. Okay, Gabriel says, is Chalfont in Fire Walk with Me and Tremont and Twin Peaks series? Joe Wood talks about Pearl Lakes. Tommy says, basically Star Trek alternate. John Michael Fink, maybe they went too far in the future. Or in the past, we don't know. Because Mike keeps repeating from part 1 to part 18. And is it future or is it past? Tommy says, this picture would look nice on your wall. Yeah, the Tremont scene. Abigail says, does anyone remember what the lady said to Donna? Tommy says, Black Lodge is Skynet. Lottie Barroso says, my interpretation is that he passed to an alternative reality whereas the events involving Laura Palmer didn't happen. Everything is on peace. But we still think it's in the past, though, because the Tremont lady is young. She's not old yet. John says, who was the girl the bug was in? We don't know, but if the past was changed, maybe even that changed now. Gabriela says, the problem is Laura Carrie remembers at the end. Yeah, she screams at the end after she hears her mother yell for Laura. Abigail says, yeah, I think she woke up at the end. Abigail says, who's the dreamer? Lauti Barroso says, and the world didn't enter to our world. It's something like a new status quo. Tommy says, I'm sure episode 8 was the real finale of The Return. Huh. Well, it was definitely the best episode for me of The Return. Tommy also says, time is convoluted. John says, who do you think was the girl the bug was in? At this point, it could have been even Laura. It could have been... That could have been anybody, really. I don't know. T says, yes, too many unanswered things. Abigail, what if the events of season 3 were played backwards? That's a good hypothesis. It's possible. Lauti Barroso said, John Michael Fino, maybe Sarah Palmer as she got pregnant from Laura? Maybe, but we're thinking she was, the age was, we don't know, maybe. Skella 17, yeah, but Mrs. Chalfont sold the house to the Tremonts, like they are different people. Yeah. Abigail, and the frog moth, we never found out. Lauti says, Sarah Palmer, sorry, it's okay. Melinda says, this is how I felt with finale of Pretty Little Liars. Oh my God, Pretty Little Liars, tragic. No, I felt worse. For Pretty Little Liars was just bad. We can't even compare Twin Peaks with Pretty Little Liars, really, but Pretty Little Liars was just awful. Ryan, remember 430, Richard and Linda, 2 birds with 1 stone, somehow crossing over the 430 mile mark and becoming Richard and Linda is needed to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Melinda says it's like Laura's a lost soul. Now listen, Ryan, that's an interesting theory. Let me drink. I feel like Chelsea Handler right now, just guzzling away. So Cooper has his, I wouldn't even call it love. They didn't make love. It was weird sexual intercourse with Diane. And then the next day, she's gone. We don't know where again, Diane has disappeared again. But Cooper did warn us in the sheriff's office, things will change from now on. So, and they did. But she leaves, or we don't know what happened to her, but there's a message for him. His name is Richard. Her name is Linda, all of a sudden. And she left Richard. Let me see. Did I write down anything in particular about that? Because, oh wait, somebody, what are you talking, guys? Abigail says, I think back to Laura's monologue in Fire Walk with Me, and the angles can't help because they've gone all away. The angels. Sorry, the angles. And the angels can't help because they've gone all away. Peppermill, how the hell is Annie anyway? And then Lottie says, oh my God, Annie, I forgot. I don't know how Annie is, but Cooper wakes up alone in motel bed, and Coop says, Diane, Diane. Twice he calls Diane's name. He finds a note next to the bed. Dear Richard, when you read this, I'll be gone. Blah, 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 Linda. Cooper leaves the motel, goes into his car, and looks at the motel again. He drives away. Odessa city limit, population 90,000 something. It's like a new Twin Peaks. Cooper reaches Judy's coffee shop. He enters, and the second he's there, it's as if he's looking for Judy and knows that the waitress that's there is not Judy. Maybe she had a name tag on, but I didn't see one. Is there another waitress that works here? And then there's this weird situation with the cowboy hillbillies harassing the waitress, and then he kind of shoots one in the leg, throws the guns into the deep fryer, asks the waitress again for the address. She gives it to him. He says, don't worry, girl, I'm FBI. But the way he speaks, it's so evil Coop. So weird. And then, you know, he arrives to the address of this second waitress, which turns out to be Laura. So the first waitress could have been a Shelley, you know, a parallel universe version of Shelley. Well, anyway. So he arrives to address 1516. It's right next to the electricity pole we seem to know or have seen before. He walks to the entrance door. Cheryl opens the door. Her name is Carrie Page. Page as in, let's flip the page and start anew. Cooper asks her, are you Laura? She says, no, I'm Carrie Page. Cooper says, your father's name is Leland Palmer and your mother is Sarah Palmer. It's difficult to explain, but I need to take you back to your home. It's very important. Carrie says, where are we going? Cooper says, Twin Peaks, Washington. Carrie, Washington, D.C.? Cooper, no, Washington State. Somebody's dead in her living room. And nobody seems to care. She's just distraught, but not as distraught as she could be, as she should be. That guy was obviously killed. There's blood stains on the wall behind his head. And it seems as if though he were pointing to something. And it's so cute how they added that element of that kind of circle and the white horse in front of the circle, which is of course so symbolic of the white horse. I mean, I'm not getting into all these details now, or I am, better said, as we go along. But I did notice all of them, even though we're not analyzing all of them into detail in this video. Maybe in a future video, I don't know. I have to re-see the episodes and just like figure out just how disappointed or how I can accept everything. I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me in a way. Let's see comments. Lottie's still asking, what about Audrey? Abigail, that scene is on right now as you read it. Oh, okay. So you're watching the episode as we're talking? Oh, that's cool. Debbie says nothing about the dead guy. T says, no, it doesn't feel right. There better be a season 4. Now, if they kept telling us from the get-go, there's not going to be season 4, there's not going to be season 4, this is going to be a one season thing. Abigail says, I'm watching it for the second time. Yeah, I'm going to watch it too after we're done with the stream for sure, because I just got to figure some things out a bit better. Naido did turn out to be Diane, as we expected. So that's that. Did you notice how the Talpa Diane had the white bob, but colored fingernails? And it's as if like absence of color in the head area, that was all like gone. It wasn't her. And now we have all the color back into her head, but then fingernails are now black and white. So it's a total kind of contrast and opposite to what it used to be. That was fascinating to see. Let me go through a couple more of these things. Maybe we're going to unlock something together. Cooper's, we're again with Cooper and Laura Carrie. Debbie asks, what was the thing with the overlay of Cooper in the sheriff's office? It seemed as though, this is just maybe a theory. Debbie says, makes me think he's the dreamer. Yeah, because he says, what does he say? Like, we are the dreamer, or this is all a dream. But remember, Devi, Evil Coop, or Mr. C, when Cooper puts the ring on his finger, Mr. C does disappear, but does not reappear in the lodge. The ring just falls on the floor. And then we have the overlapping image of Cooper over Cooper. So I wonder, is Mr. C still there in some weird way or form? Or are both of those images the good Coop that we know? Ryan says, so why are they driving in an old car when they go to the hotel, and then in the morning it seems like a different hotel and a new model car? I have to check that out again. Was it a different motel in the morning and a different car? It's very possible, because Lynch does love to play with us that way. Because while you're focused on one particular element and you think that's important, you miss out on all the other elements, obviously, so I have to watch that again. John Michael says, we all live in a dream. Abigail says, Ryan, it was an alternate dimension, I think. John says, he burned in a chair, Mr. C. Mr. C burned in a chair? Joe Wood, is Bob still in Leland? I don't think so. Abigail Eldridge, I think Mr. C merged with Coop after the Diane sex scene. I think Mr. C merged with Coop after... I think he was already in him. For some weird... I don't know, he was just acting weird. You know, this is the thing. Cooper leaves the car. Okay, he's with Diane in the car. They're like, are you ready to cross this? We're ready to cross, blah, blah, blah. And then they park at this motel. Cooper leaves and he disappears. He goes into the reception area to get the key for the room. As he is completely gone, Diane sees her doppelganger or a tulpa. We don't know what she sees. She sees herself, allegedly, apparently. And then Cooper returns. So I'm thinking maybe it's not the good Cooper that returned. Maybe it's the evil Cooper that returned. Or maybe it's the good Cooper with the evil Cooper that returned. Because from that moment on, he's kind of more stiff, more cool, more cold. And that really long and uncomfortable sex scene felt just strange to me. That wasn't the Cooper we knew from episode 16 or from season 1 and 2. Abigail says, I think Mr. C merged with Cooper after the Diane sex scene, at least after they hit 430. Possible. Eileen says, yes, different hotel and car. Notice that too. Okay, so it's official, guys. It's a different motel the next day and a different car. SPF 50, oh my God, what the hell did I just watch? Does this mean season 4? That was intense. Yes, SPF 50, it was intense. It was also disappointing in many ways. In many ways, it was also amazing. I mean, but maybe there will be a season 4. And if there is no season 4, then you know, what's the purpose of all of this? Waiting 25 years for this. I have the feeling we are where we were 25 years ago. In a different way, but we're still there. Lauti says, Diane's hair is red now, original, and Diane's hair was white before, tulpa. I have black and white Lodge's thoughts. Forever Fragrant Kid, yes, a different Cooper. SPF 50, this Cooper is very perplexing. Ryan says, yes, seemed like both Coopers together, which I was guessing already just based on the alchemy that seems to be referenced through the whole series. Abigail is asking for Audrey theories. T says, yes, exactly, Jacob. Oh, and on another note, forgot what I wanted to say. Alchemy. Okay, so I would have never thought that the good Cooper would use the seed and the hair to create another Dougie for Janie E and Sonny Jim. I thought he was too much of a patriotic, conservative type of guy, that he wouldn't want to have another double of himself roaming the world. Also, it's not legal, really. He doesn't really exist. I don't know, that's not something Cooper would do. But then again, Cooper has also become friends with the Mitchum brothers, who also are kind of a borderline legal illegal with their businesses. So I thought to myself, that's a different type of Cooper, because there's a life at stake here. I mean, there's Janie E's life, Sonny Jim's, and Sonny Jim is his DNA. I never thought he would have just left them with a tulpa. I thought that was super lame. And the way that they were dismissed, that Lynch in these last 2 episodes gave us literally 5 seconds of that storyline. Just like, okay, let's close this quick. Seed, hair, bloop. seed grows, a new Dougie is born, Dougie arrives home, Janie E and Sonny Jim hug him. Done. Let's move on to 10 minutes of an awkward sex scene. Let's move on to 10 minutes of an awkward car ride with Carrie, aka Laura. That doesn't tell us much. Let's get to what they talk about while we're at it. Carrie, where are we going? Cooper, Twin Peaks, Washington. Carrie, Washington, D.C. Cooper, no, Washington State. Cooper, take a coat if you got one, because it might get cold there. Carrie, are you really an FBI agent? Coop, yes, and shows his badge. Carrie is happy to leave Odessa. Here we see another scene from the trailer. All of the last scenes that were in the trailer before the season 3 or the return began, the last kind of snippets that were in the trailer that were missing were actually from part 17 and 18. So we see Coop in the car, but in the trailer we didn't see Cheryl Lee sitting next to him. Now we know that the person sitting next to him in the car was indeed Cheryl Lee. Carrie goes on and says, is someone following us? Cooper looks through the rear view window and the car behind them surpasses them. Seems as if nobody was following them, although you never know. Black Road Highway, very Mr. C, more than actual Cooper. Carrie says, Odessa. I try to keep a clean house, keep everything organized. It's a long way. She falls asleep, then she walks up again. In those days, I was too young to know any better. It seems like Laura is talking about her past. But I would say Laura knew very well. I wouldn't think Laura would say today, oh, in those, I should have known better. I think she was very well aware of it. It's just, it was overwhelming for such a young, person to handle all of that hate and all those energies flowing through them. They are now in Twin Peaks at Sarah's house. Carrie seems confused. The strange woman opens the door. Coop says, is Sarah Palmer there? Woman says, there is no one here by that name. Coop, is this your house? Woman, yes, we own this house. Cooper, who did you buy it from? Woman, what was the name of the woman that sold us this house? And then we're back to that thing that we were talking about. I was expecting, Julie Cruz to be the last music we hear. But no, Julie Cruz sang, what I think was playback at the end of part 17. So Julie Cruz is in the Roadhouse. That also felt like, let's quickly put her in there. It felt forced and it was very speeded up. It was very quick. It didn't feel right to me. Again, he gave like so many minutes to the sex scene. And he didn't give Julie Cruz that time that I think warranted. It needed that time in the Roadhouse. Julie Cruz was all alone in the Roadhouse. No, Cooper was in the Roadhouse. None of the characters we know were in the Roadhouse. Julie Cruz needed more time. And I think she should have been set up in an environment that was more connected to the story. I get it that for us, Twin Peaks old-timers, it's enough to hear that voice, to hear that song, and we're back in the mood, we're back in the zone, we're so happy to see Julie Cruz. But honestly, she deserved more and better. Some other performers got, some other acts, gigs in the Roadhouse got way more exposure and kind of connection to the plot line than she did. Maybe again because we were expecting her and we were anticipating her and we were so looking forward to her. I can only talk for myself. I felt like I really needed more from her in that scene in the Roadhouse. In one of the scenes of the Roadhouse from season 2, I mean, the most important, the revelation of the killer of Laura Palmer is given to us. And it's such an important setup, and the music is so important, and it's the most important part, kind of like as a knot that maybe at the same time unfolds and kind of knots itself up even more. That Julie Cruz part in Twin Peaks season 2 was so important, and now I have the feeling they put her there just to put her there. Forever Frankenka says Rebecca Del Rio's scene was amazing in season 10. in season 10, in part 10. Yeah, it was. Or T, are you just like channeling? Is there going to be Twin Peaks 10 seasons now? Let me read back a couple of comments. Oh, there's a lot of comments. Okay. Abigail says, also, we did see in the White Lodge through Andy that they would merge. So I think that is canon. Interesting. Yes, we did see. Well, we saw them kind of vibrating next to each other like that. So maybe that's what the premonition was all about. Gabriela says that Cooper Dougie, does Cooper Dougie still exist? Yeah, a Tulpa Dougie was created and went to meet Janie E and Sonny Jim. Lauti Barroso, it felt like Inland Empire ending from Lynch. Have you seen it? Yes, of course I've seen it many times. SPF 50, I think we can all agree episode 17 was wild. Abigail Eldridge, hey, that's interesting. The code conversations parallel to the Audrey code conversation. True. She does talk about the code, leaving for the roadhouse and with Charlie and get the code. Yes, it does parallel. Very, very fascinating connection. Joe Wood, there's a white horse on the mantle. Yes, I mentioned it before. We noticed the white horse on the mantle standing in front of this kind of like plate, round circular thing. Cranston 22, for me, the Coop sex scene felt super uncomfortable because of Diane admitting evil Coop raped her in episode 16. If we are in the past, was the sex scene a version of that event? I don't think so, because if she was raped, I think Lynch made it very clear that she's on top of Cooper. If she were raped, she would not be on top. She would have been forced, and this was like totally her dominating this. She was the dominant part in that scene. Forever Fragrant Kid says, yes, it did. Although I was happy to see Julie. It felt shortened, but you were happy to see Julie. Joe says, I agree about Julie Cruz. Abigail, the way Diane described the rape was completely different. Correct. Abigail, yeah, that one woman got like 7 minutes. Invisible Girl 422, I wonder what is on the cutting room floor. Yeah, right? Forever Fragrant Kid, Rebecca Del Rio scene was amazing in episode 10. And then John says, yes, love Rio and Cruz. Tommy says, what if we will never get another Twin Peaks season? Just a new title called Odessa. Maybe. Petrietri, was that Laura's doppelganger in the same way Dougie was Cooper's doppelganger? No, Dougie was not Cooper's doppelganger. Let's be very clear about this, guys. Dougie was a tulpa, was a created entity. He was not a doppelganger. Cooper had a doppelganger, which is a doppelganger, which is Mr. C, or Evil Coop. It's kind of like the shadow self of himself. But a doppelganger is something that kind of awaits you in the Black Lodge. When you enter, you have your kind of negative photocopy of yourself, spiritually speaking, which can manifest itself physically as well, as we see with Evil Cooper. But Dougie was a manufactured entity, not a doppelganger. Even though Dougie has the resemblance in the DNA of Cooper, he's not a doppelganger. Abigail says, I think Odessa would be boring as a TV show. Yeah, maybe. I would prefer Mulholland Drive at that point, obviously, to Odessa. So what was Laura's tulpa? So was that Laura's tulpa? I don't know. I think that would complicate things even more. Everything is possible, obviously, but from the moment on when we have the replaying of Twin Peaks season 1, the first scene is Josie Packard. We see Josie doing her makeup. Pete is exiting, the kitchen. He goes fishing, and we see that there is no body of Laura Palmer. And then we see a double, somebody acting as Pete, or maybe it's footage of Pete from the past that they reused, but I think it's a double. that they filmed. That's why they film only from the back. You see this guy acting as Pete, because the actor, of course, is dead, unfortunately. Fishing. So it's over. Like that part is done. She's not dead. We have changed the past. So Laura is indeed alive. What I don't quite understand is we finish episode part 17. Cooper holding Laura's hand as they walk through the woods, and then all of we have a close up of him. His hand is stretched to the back, and then like all of a sudden the camera veers back and there's no Laura left, and then we hear that same noise we hear with Cooper and the fireman, aka the giant, in part 1 when he says they're in our house now, and you hear the I can't do that sound, and Laura's gone, and then we hear that same noise the same kind of noise or voice or whatever that we heard when Laura disappears in the Black Lodge after she whispers something in Cooper's ear that's apparently very important, but we'll never find out what it was because Lynch didn't tell us this time what she whispered in his ear. So we have that same sound effect, and Laura indeed is gone, and then we have Julie Cruz singing. And then what I don't understand is, why do we go back to that scene again in part 18, and we go through the same scene? We see Laura, they're holding hands with Cooper, they're walking through the forest, again, close up to him, moving back to his arm, and we see he's not holding her hand anymore. She has disappeared. We have the same sound effects again, maybe slightly different. And Laura is gone. And then we go through all the motions that we know. And we go through this Cooper scenario of him hunting down Laura. Leland Palmer repeats to Cooper. Now, this is the scene where I thought was mirrored. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in part 1 or part 2, I thought Cooper comes in this way, talks to Leland. Leland tells him find Laura, and then Cooper leaves. Now, I had the feeling Cooper came from this side. Leland says find Laura, and then he left. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, I don't think Laura has a tulpa. I think the Carrie page is maybe a Laura that has been kind of stripped of her memories to maybe protect her, to keep her safe. Maybe the giant did that to keep her safe. Because notice the scene, the giant, aka the fireman, when Mr. C disappears, allegedly goes to the Black Lodge, ends up in a sort of, this is my interpretation only, in this kind of, the giant is still floating in his theater, in silencio. And we have that machine that kind of, sent off the golden ball of Laura into the world. It's still active, and it's the only kind of color element in that black and white scene. And we have this kind of cage scenario, which maybe that was the glass box. I don't know, but it looked more like a cage, and it seemed like Evil Coop was in that thing. And it was so funny how the giant, aka Fireman, it was so like iPads, he was like laying, but he was like swapping images, just like he would with on an iPad, and he would like swap the page, and then on the screen behind him, the Palmer house would kind of swap into these kind of stripes. It would almost like disintegrate, and then a new scene would appear. So maybe the giant was swiping the past because Cooper altered the past in a way, and maybe the giant was just kind of like changing. He's like, oh, okay, this changed, so let's cancel it. But if we cancel this, we gotta add that instead. And then, if you notice, that kind of, I don't know if it was a cage or what it was, but that thing where I thought Mr. C was in kind of moves towards the screen and kind of interacts with that machine that kind of, sent off the bubble, the golden seed of Laura into the world. So maybe Mr. C is back in the world in a different context or within a different connotation. I don't know. As far as differences in the purple room, the light is on. I wanted to turn it on only for the ending. It was always off. Now it's on. Doesn't change much, does it? We're still confused. Cheers, everyone, for whoever is joining us right now. We're all drinking to celebrate, but also out of frustration in a way. Oh my God, guys! But before I read some of the comments, I had a couple of people. Listen, I loved episode 16. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not a lemming that follows, if I love somebody and I respect an artist, like I do Lynch and Frost, that doesn't mean I'm going to have to blindly without any thought, accept everything they offer us. We are intelligent human beings that also have our own opinions and our own tastes. So we're not supposed to be expected to passively accept everything we're given. I'm a huge fan of Twin Peaks, always will be, till my dying day. But if something doesn't fit with me, I'm going to express it. So there was a couple of people commenting last week's episode about saying like, Jacob, what gives? Like, what? You're against it. You're saying you love everything you see in Twin Peaks, but you're not liking this episode. Like, get over it. Grow the hell up. You can't just expect people to love everything. I mean, so what? My subscribers, people who follow me and who love me, are supposed to love everything I do? No, and I don't expect them to. As I think Lynch and Frost wouldn't expect us to love everything they do. I mean, it's all about taste. It doesn't have. Never accept blindly everything people throw at you. Always have your opinion about it. I digress. Let's read the comments. Wow, there's a lot of comments. Abigail says, the doppelganger you have to face in the Black Lodge or it gets out. Tulpa is manufactured and isn't in the lodges. Correct. Tommy says, would like to see Coop cross over with Rick and Morty. Sanchez can knock out the entire plot in 26 minutes. Bam. Abigail, I have a theory. What if Audrey was Laura's Tulpa the whole time? If Laura indeed had a Tulpa, but it could be that they're connected in some way, for sure. For sure it could be. Tommy says, more like Donna's Tulpa. Lauti Barroso, but what about Laura's cousin? She could have been a Tulpa. Oh, yes, could have been. But everybody remembered her as Laura's cousin, so I don't know. Joe Wood says, Pete, the lonesome foghorn blows. What sheet 8? I like In Memory of Jack Nance at the end of episode 17. Yeah, that was beautiful. I mean, to see Nance again was beautiful. Abigail Eldridge, I'm pretty sure Madison was Laura's Tulpa. Her parents didn't even look for her. Well, why would they look for her? She came to visit the Palmer house, and after she left, like 1 or 2 days after she left, they found her dead already. So there was like no time to alarm the family. And Leland did everything to not alarm the family. He lied even to make everybody just feel safe, Ryan says 3 shots of El Jimador is starting to help. Oh yes, Ryan. Cheers, sweetie. Let's take another sippy. Oh, I love this champagne. Potato Bro. Cooper went too far in the past. He met a younger Sarah, and that's why she didn't know who Laura was. Younger Sarah takes up the name Sarah Palmer and buys the house, marries Leland. No, but that wasn't Sarah in the house. That was another woman. Abigail Eldridge, I'm pretty sure it was reshot footage. Abigail says that's older Ray Wise. No, well, I mean, in the Black Lodge, when Ray Wise says, find Laura, of course that was new footage. But the Ray Wise from Fire Walk With Me, when we have the scenes of Laura from Fire Walk With Me, and Ray Wise is at the window looking at her because she left the house, that was the original footage of Ray Wise from the Palmer house from the 90s. Joe Wood, yes, Evil Coop was in a cage. Yeah, there you have it. So in a way, I think the Giants sent Evil Cooper back to the world. I don't know why, though. Is that what really happened? Because the cage becomes smaller and kind of approaches that machine that's meant to kind of send stuff off to the world or to different worlds, planets. Who knows how many worlds there are. Abigail says, Potato Bro, I think Carrie would be too old to be Sarah later on. But also Carrie is Laura. She doesn't look like Sarah at all. Ryan says, the Lincoln Cooper is driving when he goes to Odessa was at least post 2000. That's good to know. I'm not good with cars, so thank you for that, Ryan. John says, did Jeffrey send Cooper back in time? Okay, so let's get to the Jeffrey scene. Good that you mentioned that. I made my little funny drawings, obviously. Who wouldn't? After our coffee or teapot Jeffrey communicated to Cooper Jeffries, not Jeffrey, sorry. So when Cooper opens the 315 key, the door under the what we think is the Great Northern Hotel, we have Mike reciting the future past, poem, which we know so well from the original Twin Peaks. We hear electricity. Coop and Mike walking down a corridor, blackness all around them. They are in a room with Laura's wallpaper, walking up the stairs. Somebody walks down the stairs, looks like the jumping man. Maybe it was the jumping man that passed by downstairs. I don't know, it was too quick for me. They walk to room 8, I think they do, of the motel above the convenience store. Start to talk to Jeffries. Jeffries is still in a tea coffee pot. Coop says, Philip? Philip says, please be specific. It's like, I got no time to waste on this. Be specific. And Coop says, the date, February 23rd, 1989. February 23rd, 1989 is the date Laura died. Correct me if I'm wrong at this point. I did have a couple of drinks. Philip says, I'll find it. It's slippery in here. Say hello to Gordon. He'll remember the unofficial version. Is Jeffries telling us, I know what you want to do, Cooper. You want to change the past. Let Gordon know, because Gordon will be the only one who will remember the unofficial version. And the unofficial version will become the version where Laura Palmer is dead. The official version, so it seems, or so it would seem, will become the version where Laura lives. She didn't die. So I guess Gordon will remember the unofficial version, unless Jeffries meant something else. If he did mean something else, please let me know in the chat, because I don't know. Oh, the champagne is kicking in. All right. So this is where you'll find Judy. Now, since Judy is this evil entity, there might be someone. Did you ask me this? I don't get that part very well. But anyway, a little drawing here. And by the way, this is like, there's the little drawings of the owl cave ring, and then this, and then the infinity symbol. It turns into infinity symbol with a little ball. The infinity symbol flips over from left to right. I guess that's an alternate reality. And the little ball turns as well from one point to the other. Infinity turns around and black ball turns. Jeffries, you can go in now. Remember. Mike, electricity noises, all turns to black. We are now in Fire Walk With Me in the past. All is in black and white. Laura runs from home on James' bike. A good Coop appears from the future in the past and sees the scene. She's kissing James. Laura, I do love you, James. Let's get lost together. She sees Cooper and screams. Lights out. Bobby killed a guy. Do you want to see? And James says, see what? Laura, open your eyes, James. You don't even know me. Even Donna doesn't know me. Your Laura disappeared. It's just me now. It's just me now. And when she said your Laura disappeared, and this was in the promotional part of like the re-release of Fire Walk With Me anniversary edition, that's one of the snippets you hear Laura say, your Laura disappeared, it's just me now. That sounds like a tulpa talking. And yet, Cooper doesn't see her as a tulpa because Cooper saves that Laura that's talking to James. So they had an option, they had a choice. They could have, they could have went a different route. They could have decided to play it the way of a tulpa, Oh, Nick, hi Nick, how you doing? Nick says, Jacob, I have too much to say. I will message you tomorrow on Instagram if that's okay. Yeah, sure, do whatever you need to do. There's a lot to say, but Nick, I don't know when you tuned in, but like we've been streaming for almost an hour now. So you missed quite a bit, but we're drinking. Actually, let me pour me another bottle, another glass. Bottle. Champagne, sweetie darling, sweetie. Ab Fab is still the second best TV show. Nick says, I just finished the episodes. Oh, okay. So, okay. Oh, boy, Nick, you need to let it sink in a little. Abigail says, I honestly thought Judy was Garland Briggs. Also, they didn't catch up to was the log lady said about the cave. Well, the cave, no, she said on top of the mountain, right? She's like, watch out for that one. For that one. And we do see Briggs. Briggs's head that was missing all this time is in the black and white scene of the purple or mauve world, or within the White Lodge, we don't know what it is, where the fireman is floating. So we have a cage on one side and Briggs's head on the other. Briggs doesn't talk, but it's his head floating. I guess Mr. C finally finds Briggs. Does Briggs in that scene in some sort of way communicate to Mr. C? Maybe. We're not shown it. We could kind of imagine it. We're left to interpretation there. But that's when we see Major Briggs. And a lot of us have been speculating, in fact, that Garland Briggs, Garland comes from Judy, Judy Garland, so we were thinking that Judy would be Mr. Briggs. In fact, a lot of people were speculating that. Now, part 17 begins with Gordon Cole telling us that Judy is this evil entity, so Briggs was not evil. He raised his son with a lot of love. His wife loved him so much. He was a very respectful man. I don't see him in any sort of way, after everything we've been told and in part 17 and 18, that he would be evil. So in fact, we should perhaps debunk that theory that Major Briggs is Judy. Abigail says, my original theory was that Laura had a tulpa for that and didn't die. And that's why she says, I am dead, yet I live. I think the reason she says I'm dead yet I live is because they're showing us the future in the past. Like in the first part when she says that and opens her face, it's a kind of a premonition of the future. She's like, right now when I'm telling you that I'm dead, I am dead. But I'm also letting you know that you will save me. You will go back into the past and you will prevent me from dying, and I will live again. I'm dead yet I live is in some way that. It's as if she would say, perhaps, and this is just a theory, guys, so, don't kill the theory maker, that she's telling Cooper, things can change if you know how to change them. There's still a possibility for me to survive all of this, to live through all of this. Maybe that's what she was trying to say. Judy is the alternative reality. The entire show is about coffee. Coffee is the real reality. Abigail says, darn, I'm really confused on Briggs' intentions. Abigail says, oh, what I missed Gordon saying that. How? Oh, what? I missed Gordon saying that. How? Yeah, Gordon says that at the beginning of part 17 to Albert. He says, sorry, Albert, I apologize. That 25 years ago, I didn't tell you this little important tidbit of information. Albert says, it's fine. Like, I forgive you, something like that. And then Gordon says, yeah, I know you do, but still, I apologize. Hummus Hero, don't eat us. And then you have a lot of emojis of little animals. I'm drinking. This is fruits. It's not animal. John says, didn't Laura go in the White Lodge at the end of Fire Walk with Me? No, that was still the Black Lodge. Abigail, so maybe Judy is the mother. Well, that's what we are led to believe because Gordon is very specific. And usually, to me, when Gordon says something, it's David Lynch talking. So it's like we're at the source. So whatever Gordon tells us, I'm like, ears open, I'm listening. And if he tells us that Judy is this evil entity, then I do believe that that's the entity on top of the mountain with the stars. We see the black thing with the little weird ears. That's definitely something that I would think is important to know. Hawk tells Frank Truman a couple of episodes ago about the little black thing with the floppy ears or wings. You don't want to know about that. You don't want to ask about that. You don't want to know about that. And now Gordon Cole tells us what it is. Or so we think, because we did not get any confirmation from Hawk or anybody else. But we think that in fact is Judy, that entity on top of the mountain. And yes, I don't remember who wrote before about the log lady. We did not get any confirmation. We did not get any explanation about the log lady's messages to Hawk about what will happen on top of the mountain or blue something peak. So yeah. John says, what happened? What was up with Jerry? Well, Jerry was found naked somewhere in Wyoming. Was it Wyoming? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Wyoming. He was found naked by the police, and then I don't know, somehow he managed to tell them who he, or not who he was, but who to call, and then they called Benjamin Horn, and Benjamin, no, that's the only bit we get about the horns in part 17 and 18, and then he says, yeah, I'll get him out of the trouble. It sounds like him. And the cops say, he says that he killed a person with his binoculars. That was like a funny moment. Listen. I'm going to say something. Right now, I'm going to say it, guys. I'm going to keep Laura with me. The doppelganger Laura from the Black Lodge. I'm going to say this. And I know that a lot of Twin Peaks fans and David Lynch fans are going to fucking bash me for this. But I'm going to say it anyway. I do believe after Fire Walk with Me and after The Return, maybe, just maybe, much of the Twin Peaks we love so much or loved so much was, from the 90s, was also due to the fact, with its cheekiness and maybe superficiality as well, was due to the fact that it wasn't always David Lynch directing and writing all of it. And Lynch was in total control of Fire Walk with Me, and a lot of people were disappointed with Fire Walk with Me. Now, as a standalone movie of an hour or two, almost two, 90-something minutes, whatever, it works well. But 18 hours of Fire Walk with Me, which is what the return of Twin Peaks is, more or less, is very abstract. And for those of us, or those of you and me, who loved also that delicate, more superficial and maybe naive and innocent aspect of Twin Peaks, season 1 and 2, it's missing because Lynch was in total control of season 3. And I know this is horrible to say, and I know a lot of people are going to be super mad that I said it, but maybe season 4, if it ever happened, should not all be done by Lynch. You know what I mean? There, I said it. Kill me if you want to kill me. It's just, I'm speculating. Let's discuss it together. What are your opinions, guys? You're typing. I see you're all typing. While you're typing, I'm going to read your comments. Abigail says, I still haven't figured out Gordon's drawing. Yeah, the dog deer with antlers in the hand. It's still a mystery. Jacob says, Judy is the mother. She is the gray in the box. She has possessed Sarah. Winston says, what did audio video? Shit. Am I live, guys? Do you see me? Oh, this is so freaking annoying. I'm so sorry about this. Can you see me, guys? Somebody please write me that you can see me. We hear you. You're back. Oh, thank God. Okay. So frustrated about this. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Internet is a douchebag, literally. Okay, so I was reading your comments. Cooper, Winston says, Cooper undid the whole series. Laura is alive. Yeah, I mean, okay, let's talk about this for a second. Oh, wait, Melinda says, I hate to say it, but you're right, Jacob. Lynch has a different vision. Debbie says, I can agree with you. Melinda, let's drink to that. Are you drinking, Melinda, or are you bailing out on me? I want to know. Ryan says, the real Jacob in Vino Veritas. I snap and I pose. Lynch messing with us, Melinda says. Abigail, is this cutting out for anyone else? Jacob says, I cannot wait to read the final dossier. Yeah, me too. Melinda says, he didn't like what Jacob said, lol. Yeah, Lynch didn't like what I said and Lynch blocked me. Stopped my stream. Jacob says, yep, stream offline. No, guys, I'm back. Ryan says he's ending on a cliffhanger like Twin Peaks. I'm back. I hung off a cliff and I returned from the cliff. My name is Cliff. You're Richard. She's Linda. I'm Cliff. Jacob says, I love Twin Peaks so much and I think that finale was amazing. Sorry, had to let that out. Okay, Jacob, now listen, don't get me wrong. I totally respect the opinion. And what I would love, Jacob Yavorsky, I would love to love the ending too. So could you tell me why you loved it so much? Like, what's the reason? Because maybe it could be, it's super possible that I missed something, that I just didn't get it, and and that would make it, Just saying. Let me know. Jacob says, I was just letting my emotions out, haha, not criticizing your opinion. No, Jacob, I know you're not criticizing my opinion, and actually you expressed it very politely. It's all fine. But I really would like, you know what I mean? Like, I would love to be enthusiastic about it and to really appreciate it and love the ending. But I'm kind of in this weird position where something is blocking me. And I would either like to deblock it or just let it be as it is, But I would love to be drinking right now, like not to forget, but like drinking to celebrate. I'll drink anyway. Drinking, whatever. Okay, let's read the comments. Lauti says, where's my Garbambosia? Jacob, come back. I'm back. Schmadfin says, the original series Fire Walk With Me and Season 3 are like different complex solar systems in the same galaxy. With or without Lynch, Season 4 would be yet another solar system and throw fans off again. Very interesting theory, and I think you're right. I think Season 4 would be a totally different thing yet again. Pink Hornet, sorry I missed everyone. Really wanted to talk too. No, we're back. We can talk. Pink, welcome. Jacob says, welcome back. Thank you. Ryan says, you're back. Garmambosia, how's that spelled? Garmambosia? Yeah, you spelled it right. Yeah, there's an R there. Jacob says, oh, we hear you. Okay, you're back. Yes. Everybody says, can't hear, positive. Woo-hoo. Celebration. We're all back. Joe says, I understand what you're saying about Lynch's control. It's normal to be frustrated by his work. I believe he never wanted the mystery of Laura Palmer to be solved. Quite frankly, Joe, I know I've heard him say that in several interviews, but bringing her back to life by not getting her killed in the first place, I would have left her dead rather than doing what he did and then leave this sort of cliffhanger, which is not really a cliffhanger. It's a sort of limbo. I have the feeling, literally, we're at the same spot we were at the end of Season 2. Nothing, like, during the progression of Season 3, things did progress and things did change and we did get more insight into the past. But at the end, once all is said and done, at the end of The Return, I have the feeling we're we as viewers maybe have more glimpse into how the lodges work, you know, how all of this functions, the dynamic behind it all. We get that now more than we did in season 2 or after Fire Walk with Me. But we're still where we left off, or where we ended in season 2. We don't know what's wrong, what's up with Cooper, who he is, what he is. We don't know what's... Yeah, okay, at this point Laura is like dead or alive. That's the difference now. She was dead in season 2. Now she might be alive, but my problem is I don't feel something new there, something fresh, something different. I don't know. Let's see what you guys say. Please Rewind says, I can't wait to see vids from people who are going to break down all the clues of the season. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Jacob says, I was just letting my emotions out. Not criticizing your opinion. All right, I read that one already. Eileen says, are you a Dune fan? Saw so many similar visual effects throughout the episodes. Yes, I love Dune. Pink Hornet, 18 messed with my mind. I loved 17, and Lynch and Frost are entitled to do whatever they want, but 18 left me deeply unsatisfied. Melinda, I'm going to do live stream marathons soon. Oh, are you? Oh my God, I'm going to join. I mean, if I have time. Oh my God, I would love to. What sheet 8? Dune and Eraserhead. Invisible Girl 422. I think that if we had some conclusion with Audrey, we would have been happier. It's like Audrey ended the way, in a different way, but the way Cooper ended season 2. He looked in the mirror and he was kind of, you know, he wasn't shocked. He knew he was a doppelganger. He knew Bob was in him. But there was a mirror situation. And now we had, for Audrey, the same situation. It's like episode 16 was the final episode. 17 and 18 were the missing pieces. In a way, it felt like 17 and 18 were the missing pieces and 16 was the final episode of season 3. Winston Smith says, I'm not happy with the ending either. I hope there is a 4th season or at least a movie. Fingers crossed for that. I hope so too. Jacob says, I think it gave all the closure we needed on the stories of the people in the town. Episode 18 was the start of a new mystery. I agree with you. I'll give you that. That's for sure. I believe that the mystery should never be completely solved. Without the unknowable cosmic horror, the story wouldn't be the same. Granted. Abigail says, yeah, he didn't even want a Bob. Please Rewind says, I think Lynch did a lot of the stuff he was going to do on that Mulholland Drive. Possible. I mean, a lot of people have been saying this, that know a lot about Lynch's work, that season 3, The Return, after so many years of Lynch not being present on the silver screen or on the TV screens, that he kind of put a lot of those projects or ideas or thoughts that were maybe, you know, reserved for other projects that never came to fruition, conclusion, or production, that it kind of flowed into Twin Peaks: The Return. So it's definitely a possibility that all of that flowed in. Abigail says, personally, I'm wondering if Josie Packard was still in the lodge. I thought she was the noise that Ben heard. We all thought, or most of us thought it was Josie, but we don't know. Jacob says, I don't think resurrecting her is a retcon. I think it's a new dream. If Cooper is the dreamer, he has begun to dream lucidly. But the change he has made has potentially horrific consequences. Possible. Winston says, yes, I agree. Laura should have remained dead. Cooper undid the whole 3 seasons. Very frustrating. Jacob says, indicated by the scream at the end. So yes, Jacob says, so basically, but the Cooper changed everything change he has made has potentially horrific consequences, as indicated by the scream at the end. Pink Hornet, I understand the alternative realities, but it leaves storylines like Audrey's still very confusing. Or is Audrey caught between realities? Good question. Stoner Raptor, came off the finale literally 10 seconds ago. What happened? My brain melted in those 2 hours. Not just yours. Abigail says, oh, here's a parallel. When Gordon opens the door to Albert, he sees Laura and hears the same Laura as in the end. What if the events of Cooper in the other universe with Carrie is running along season 3? I mean, totally possible that it's all running on parallel courses, parallel tracks, that many of the storylines we've seen run literally parallel to one another in different universes at the same time rather than after one another or at the same time in the same universe with one another. Pink Hornet, I'm not story confused, but emotionally confused. I didn't expect to understand, but I trusted them to make me feel something. Melinda says, yay, join me. Yeah, I will join you in your marathon if I can. Jacob says, Bob is dead now, and everyone but Cooper and Laura are safe. That's what's different from the season 2 finale. Is Bob really dead, though? Be careful what you're saying, Jacob, because Bob might not be dead. We don't know. And Melinda says, I'm drunk, Jacob. Cheers, sweetie. I'm getting there, too. Refill. Oh, my God. Actually, done. This is the last glass, guys. Aww. Yum, 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 yum. Okay, let's read the commentos. Joe says, Jacob, you seem dejected by the ending. Are you optimistic about the possibility of more Twin Peaks? Listen, I love Twin Peaks. I love David Lynch. I waited 25 years for this new season. It's all good. I maybe just gotta digest all of this. I mean, I'll accept it for what it is. It's not like I got a choice. It's not like I can say, it's not like I'm Cooper and I could go through the lodge and rewind all of this and get another ending. It ain't gonna happen. So I'm very hopeful for season 4. I'm very hopeful to the fact that I've heard these rumors about Lynch saying, I'm not even going to express any opinions. I'm not going to say anything about anything until this season ends. Now the season has ended. Now I'm waiting for Lynch to say something about a possible season 4. While we are talking, maybe Lynch already tweeted out something. I don't know. Did anybody see any tweets from Lynch after the finale aired? Maybe there's something already out there and I don't know about it. Jacob says Audrey is in an asylum from a relationship with Evil Coop and from spawning that awful child. Does she even know she gave birth to Richard? Winston Smith, Lynch. Well, Richard turns out to be Cooper. Diane turns out to be Linda. So we got to think about that as well. Winston says, Lynch pulled a Mulholland Drive on all of us with this finale. Yes, he did. Ryan says, maybe like someone else said, this series ended Twin Peaks. Bob was defeated. Cooper came back from the lodge. The Judy plotline is a new story. I don't think the Judy plotline is a new story. And I'm a bit disappointed because, you know, I didn't mind Cooper being Dougie for 15 episodes. But once he returned to be Cooper, I wanted him to stay Cooper. But he was in fact Cooper the second half of episode 16 and the first 10 minutes of episode 17. And then he's again back in this weird... He's not in Twin Peaks anymore. He leaves again. It's not the return. It's Cooper between episode 16 and 17 all together, maybe half an hour, and then it's not Cooper again. So I'm like, Anyway, let's read your wonderful comments. I have to rewind. Please rewind says, maybe Lynch wants to do a season 4. Was this all a trick on us? I hope it was, but who knows. Stoner Raptor says, yeah, the mother and Judy thing never got a conclusion. Yeah, we know who or what Judy is now, but man, so many questions. Agreed. Abigail says, good point about the lucid dreaming. I think that's right. That's why he said we live inside a dream again. Miles Hopwell, I'm late here, y'all. WTF though? Hi, Miles. I know, right? What just happened, Miles says. Well, we're drinking to try. We think that in Vino Veritas, we're figuring it out through drinks. Only if you're of age. Pink Hornet says, at Stoner Raptor, that's where I was 25 minutes ago. Miles Hopwell, what just happened? Please rewind. So this was a multiverse? Could have been, but could have been just like just flowing future, present, past, future, present, past. Mind you, when all the story goes down in the sheriff's department office at Twin Peaks, we see the clock. What time is it? Like 3:52? You know, the famous time. It kind of like keeps moving. It's like two different clocks, and they keep like going forward and then shifting back again and then fading over to back again. It's always between 51 and 52. Okay, so Pink Hornet, wait, no. Abigail, okay. Oh God, I don't know who's saying what anymore. Lauti Barrosa, does anyone know if Lynch has Twitter or Facebook to stalk him for any Twin Peaks finale? Yeah, David Lynch has a Twitter account. I mean, he doesn't tell anything about, he's not going to explain anything on it, but he might give us some sort of message about a potential season 4. That's what we're all hoping for. Miles says, triggered. Melinda says, cheers, poor Jacob. Cheers, sweetie. Miles says, I could use a drink. Here you go. A little bit of champagne, sweetie darling. Jacob Yarovsky, Bob may not be dead, but he is banished to the lodge for now, which is a safe place for him to be on the cliffhanger. Haha. Yeah, he's in that sort of cage. But what is he, in the White Lodge? Or did the White Lodge ship him off to the Black Lodge through that mechanism? Pink Hornet says, hoping the bubbles help. Oh, yes, they do. They linger the pain. Ryan says, oh my, you finished the bottle? I'll go for shot number 5. Cheers, sweetie. Yes, I finished the bottle. Look. Oh, there was some more. Okay, I'm literally... Come on, last drops. Last drop. There it goes. And I spilled some on my little rocking chair here. Cheers, everybody. Okay. So, back to your comments. Abigail, I think a movie is more likely than a season. Possibly, but you never know. Maybe could Showtime agree to a movie? I don't know. Melinda says, let's play the Twin Peaks game. Right now, I wouldn't even be able to read the dice numbers. Miles says, I wanted to know the story behind Red's character. He just flipped a coin at Richard, and that was it? I know, right? And he has an affair with Shelley. Jacob says, I think the Chalfont-Tremont connection indicates that Cooper saving Laura was the Lodge's plan all along, or that they are going to go after them now that they are friendless in the alternate reality. Possible. Definitely a possibility. Please Rewind says, I missed Cooper too. Yeah, we all did. Schmadfin, Frost posted a thank you to the fans on Twitter. I had a little cry at that. Oh no, really? And he didn't post anything about... Did Mark Frost post anything about like a hope for the future season? No? What Sheet 8 says, maybe Lynch, Frost, and the powers that be at Showtime wanted to wait for viewer reviews before making Twin Peaks' future plans for their various individual and collective reasons. Possible. Pink Hornet, in episode 18, his character was not like Agent Dale Cooper. It was someone else again. I know, right? It felt totally different. Abigail says, oh, when Kyle did the Twitter interview, he mentioned he played 4 different people. Cooper, Dougie, Mr. C, and the confusion that he is in 18? Possibly. Invisible Girl, can I give props to Lucy for her trigger finger? Oh my god, Lucy was incredible. She was on it all along. Jacob says the Cooper in the last part of the finale was very similar to Cooper when he's in the lodge. He's back in that dream state. I know, right? And it felt kind of frustrating because I'm like, why give us back Cooper if you're going to take him away from us immediately right after you give him to us? That felt so wrong to me. What Sheet 8 says, yeah, who knew Lucy had it in her? Ha. Yay, Lucy. You go, Lucy. Stoner Raptor. After Cooper and Diane crossed that certain spot in the desert with the power lines beside them, and after the motel, Cooper really seemed changed. He acted very odd in the diner, and he shot the guy. Yeah. Please Rewind said he was acting weird. Jacob said 352, 3 plus 5 plus 2 equals 10. The important number. But 10 is 1 plus 0, so it's 1. Laura is the 1. John Michael Fink, I'm glad Ed and Norma got together. True, me too. Jesus Christ says, I love the open endings David Lynch does, but this pissed me off. My favorite film of his is Inland Empire, and the Twin Peaks season 3 just annoyed me. Melinda's asking, am I wearing Sycamore? No, I'm not. I'm wearing Fracas today. Invisible Girl 422 says, I have it on for the first time, Melinda. Oh, Debbie's wearing Sycamore. Nice. Abigail says, Jacob, about that, I agree. I mean, in a way, he did save Laura from mental torment and abuse and turmoil, which saved a lot of lives as well. Yeah, but I mean, in this alternate universe, Carrie, aka Laura, had a dead body in her living room. In this alternate universe, it seems like this other Laura also is surrounded by death. Ooh, sorry. Death, criminality. I don't know what is going down, but it doesn't seem like this alternate reality Laura, aka Carrie, is any better off, honestly. So Winston says, we can always crowdfund a 4th season or a movie. Yeah, if Lynch and Frost wanted to do one. Maybe Red and the kid with the grandma from the Black Lodge are the same people. They are both magicians. Yes, there has been speculation that Red is the magician kid. That looks like kind of a David Lynch as a child. But at this point, we won't figure out. And if they don't give us a season 4, we'll never know. Schmadfin says, no hope, no future, just Garmonbosia, I guess. True. Melissa says, oh, Debbie, do you love it? Sycamore, the perfume. Ashley says, the ending was so bad. So Ashley spelled it all out in capitals. So Ashley is very disappointed with the ending. John Michael Fink says, Lucy rocked. Melinda says, I love Lucy. We all love Lucy. That's another TV show. I Love Lucy. Zach Hawkins. Evening, folks. Just cruising live chat. Spreading some positivity. I'm drunk. Hi, Zach. Hope you all having a good time. God bless. Thank you so much, Zach. A lot of hugs and kisses to you, too. Abigail says, yes, Winston. He even could teleport things. Ashley says, also, what happened to Audrey's whole plot line? Vanished to thin air, just like this bottle of champagne vanished to thin air. Not sponsored, by the way. I bought it myself. Making it very clear here. Dominic says, glad they did 2 episodes tonight. Imagine people losing their minds if episode 18 was all you got next week. It would have been tragic. Because already 17 hints at the tragedy we're going to get. You know what I mean? And then it hits you. And then you're like, ugh. Jacob says, Lucy made me stand up and cheer like a drunk at a sports game. Yes, she did. I love that moment. Ibata 1979. After 430 or 430 miles, they were Richard and Linda, not Cooper and Diane. Yes. Richard Simpkins, the double R is not double R to go anymore. So is this the future after Norma has shed her franchise? Or the past before she even had the franchise? I think it's rather the past because Norma hints. This could be the past, guys, because when Cooper arrives with Carrie, aka Laura, back to Twin Peaks, because Norma hints, when she's talking to Walter a couple of episodes ago, she hints at the fact that how many years it's been a franchise. But before it's been a franchise, we already had Laura alive with Sarah Palmer, Leland Palmer in Twin Peaks. So obviously, if we are in the past, the Double R Diner should be the Double R Diner, not the Double R to go. So very, very well noted, my dear. And actually, where are we? Oh yeah, Richard. So Richard Simpkins, very well noted. The double R is not double R to go anymore. So is this future after Norma has shed the franchise? I think it's the past. What was your favorite episode of this season? Please Rewind asks. I would say episode 8. And then also 1 and 2. But I also liked very much 15 and 16. Jacob Yavorsky says, Carrie is followed by the darkness, dead body, etc. Maybe Bob is still haunting her. Could be. Abigail says, Jacob, I was referring to Jacob saying that maybe that was the White Lodge's plan the whole time. And about the death and bad stuff, I mean, even Laura, a child of the White Lodge, was into tons of bad. Sorry, but Laura, she was sort of a sacrificial lamb. She was also very young. I think a lot of the positive and negative powers just used her as well, you know. I don't think that most of the time she had much control over everything happening and over herself. So we have to take that in consideration. The tons of bad that was hitting Laura mostly because she was this sort of, you know, sacrificial figure in many respects. Richard Simpkins says, did anyone notice what the price of gas was at the Valero station? It is more than $4. Then it is probably the future. That's also a good point. Or you saw something that they didn't think about. Abigail says, things like prostitution and drugs and murder. It's the champagne talking. I can't do I can't say murder. It's murder. I can do it if I do it slowly. Murder. Red rum, The Shining. Ashley says, but did the number thing and the Richard and Diane thing happen in just the books? Because I've seen everything up to now, and nothing of that made any sense to me. Well, Linda was mentioned in like part 5 or 6, briefly mentioned. We never saw her though. She's in the new Fat Trout Trailer Park, waiting for a new or receiving or had received already a new wheelchair. Pink Hornet, what about the Fat Trout? Were they just red herring plot lines? I don't know. I hope they weren't, honestly, because otherwise there would be too many red herrings. Joe Wood, so if Lynch and Frost would have said all along there will be more Twin Peaks, we would be theorizing for the future or the past? Ooh, that's a good point. I think both, to be honest with you. Melinda says, I want to hear Nick's thoughts. You gotta let me know what he tells you. I'll let you know what Nick writes me in tomorrow in the direct messages on my Instagram profile. Laudi Barroso says, it is happening again. Jacob's internet vanishing. Really? Am I gone? Do you see me? Is Bob dead? Oh shit, didn't notice the double R sign. Oh my god. Debbie liked episode or part 13. Fogdust loved 15 and 16. Richard Simpkins, parts 15 and 16. Richard says, the Valero station looked way too current to be that far in the past. Stoner Raptor, well, no, it couldn't be in the past, I think. I mean, the blonde woman living in Laura's home had modern clothes and haircut. Also, their car would really stand out 30 plus years ago. John Michael Fink, Bob is like Bowser. You got him 3 times. You gotta hit him 3 times. Yeah, Bowser in Nintendo's Super Mario Brothers, he keeps coming back in every new saga. Bowser finds a way to return. Fogdust, what's that thing close to the camera? The thing close to the camera, Fogdust, is Cooper from the Black Lodge. And I always thought this was a mistake because Cooper, when he, in season 2, when his coffee turns to goo and is gooey, he's not a doppelganger, or so we think. But Funko Pops turned him into a doppelganger because he has the white eyes. So we're all very curious. But he's here because he's creating this. You see, if I take him away, I'm yellow. Sorry, I'm yellow. If I put him here, I'm not yellow anymore. Actually, I am. It's Cooper's receding hairline. That's what it is. Oh my god, there's so many comments, guys. Okay, so Ryan says, ew, I didn't notice the price of gas. Good catch. Joe says, gas prices are not real visible. Antonius blog, what was the significance of what the arm told Cooper about the story? Well, yeah, the arm, we have an edition of what the arm says. That's a good point. I actually wrote that down. Oh my god, there's so many comments, guys. Okay, let me try to find what the arm said. I'm drunk. Okay. How can I, look at me like writing all this stuff. I'm gonna find what the arm said, guys. But I did write down what the arm said. Bear with me. Oh my god. Oof. Reading is really hard after a couple of glasses of champagne. The arm. This is so funny. When does the arm kick in? I wrote it down, but Carrie. Oh, that's the end. Okay, Carrie falls asleep. Why did he call her Carrie? I always remember Carrie from Sex and the City. Laura Palmer is Carrie now. Carrie Page. Wait, so was the arm in episode 17 or 18? Nobody knows. Well, somebody will know. No, I'm yellow again. I'm turning blue. This is so creepy. We're like from blue to yellow, from yellow to blue. If Cooper is there, we turn blue. If Cooper is not there, we turn yellow. It's just the way of the world of Twin Peaks. That's how it goes, guys. We're either yellow or we're blue. There's nothing more to do. 430. Once we cross, it could be all there. This is the place, all right. He tells Diane. Diane says, kiss me. Coop says, once we cross, it could all be different. They kiss. Diane, let's go. They start the car slowly and drive towards the limit point of 430. Vortex. The evolution of the arm. The new edition of the evolution of the arm. The evolution of the arm says, is it the story of the little girl that lived down the lane, is it? The little girl that lived down the lane could be, in fact, the little girl that swallowed the frog moth. Even though that was in the 50s, and that could not have been Laura Palmer as a teenager in the late 80s, if she were already a teenager in the 50s. But why would the evolution of the arm tell us? Is it the story of the little girl that lived down the lane? Is it? You never know. Back to your comments. Oh my God, so many comments, guys. Where do they begin? There's so many. Thank you so much for all the comments, guys. Oh, the connection isn't the best, I see. Tara Prothero. In the future, people will have 3 legs. In the past, Tara Prothero, mark my words, in the past, many chairs had 3 legs. I only say that. Pink Hornet, in a season where some storylines disappeared, Janie E and Sonny Jim get an improved Talpa version of Dougie to keep. Yeah, they do, which also felt super awkward. That's not something the real Cooper would do. He would go back and live with them. He wouldn't create a second Cooper to roam about knowing he wouldn't. I don't think Cooper would want to have a copy of Cooper roaming about the world. Please Rewind says, I wanted way more of the arm. Me too. John Michael Fink, yeah, the little girl who lives down the lane. Abigail says, oh, if it is the past, maybe Diane became Linda in The Fat Trout and was that Linda. Okay, a stretch, but who knows? It's Lynch. It's all possible. Fog Dust, what is he reading? Not our comments. I'm reading my own. I write all these notes when I watch every episode. Jacob says, I think our best clue of a new season will come or not come in the final dossier. Oh, good point. Frost is always willing to give answers. If he thinks there's more to come, he will tease more to come. Tara says, is Twin Peaks about a woman? I think it's about human nature in general. Antonia's blog, well, I didn't get a lot. Pink Hornet, I had the secret tapes of Dale Cooper, which had a lot of the Dale and Diane storyline. David says, do you buy the Judy comment by Cole? Jeffries mentioned that Cole would remember the unofficial version. I saw this as a dodge by Lynch to say Fire Walk With Me doesn't count. It's the missing pieces. Jeffries scene. Yes, David, but also it could be the fact that Jeffries is telling us, if you do what you're going to do now, Cooper, you're going to change the past. The only person that's going to remember what happened in the past will be Gordon Cole. The rest of the world won't know, and Laura will be alive. But Gordon might remember that Laura was dead. Strange Nothing says, I think it's a multiverse. Fog Dust, he's reading our comments. Fabulous. Yes, I am reading your comments. Ashley says, so is there going to be another series? I can't imagine this would be the ending. I don't know. I hope it's not the end. Richard says, it took 4 Freddy punches to take out Bob. He's harder than Bowser. He's harder than Bowser, but also I don't think he's out yet. His bubble burst, but who knows when the bubble bursts if the spirit of Bob inside the bubble or the egg or whatever that was, if that spirit still lives on. Fogg says Diane's wardrobe was on point. Mad props to the stylist. Yes, definitely, I agree. David says, lol, Bowser, the luxury hybrid. How you doing, sweetie? Hey, Jacob, so greasy to catch you after a long work weekend. Oh, so great. Clumsy Thumbsy. Happy Labor Day to everyone. Fog Dust. Laura's dance was so bomb. Did she dance? Melinda says, I love how you take notes. I know. And by the way, guys, I take notes because my other booklet, my popcorn booklet, was done. This is my new booklet. I take notes in Sailor Moon. It's my new notepad. David says, Jeffries calls Judy she in Fire Walk with Me. Everyone else, it's just Judy. So you think David, you think that David Lynch might think that Judy's still a woman in the alternate version, but in reality she doesn't have a gender and Judy is some creature from some entity, some evil entity, as Gordon Cole says she is. The Luxury Hybrid is so happy. I'm happy to have you here with us, sweetie. Melinda says, typing is hard too. Oh, typing is hard when we're drunk, because we drank a lot. Oh, I wish I was drunk, which reminds me, let us have a little sippy. Oh my God. Strange Nothings, the movie, The Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane. The movie. And again, another reference. Well, let's go and watch the movie, guys. What can I tell you? Or if whoever has seen it, let's watch it again. David says, hooray for booze. I think we are mostly drunk too. My wife is passed out. She gets to watch again for the first time tomorrow. Good for her. I'm going to pass out after our live stream. Richard says, did Diane and Dale make love in that very specific place because it takes an act of love to enter the White Lodge? Maybe the plan was to use the lodge to travel to Odessa and get Laura. I don't think they were making love. Richard Simpkins. It felt super awkward. Like she maybe was making love, but Cooper, I don't know what he was doing. That felt super. It didn't feel like love making to me. Invisible Girl 422 says, yes, a Jodie Foster movie. Foster. Yeah, yes, sure. Yes, sure. As she says in The Silence of the Lambs, yes, sure. Jodie Foster. I don't know. What are you talking about, Jodie Foster? I missed something, guys. The Luxury Hybrid. Oh my God, I'm typing like I'm drunk and I'm painfully sober. Oh, tragic. Let's drink to that, sweetie. Hit my tooth with a glass. John Michael Fink. Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane. Is this the story? It's all possible. Fog Dust, your shirt is perfect for having coffee at the Double R Day Cup. Thank you, Fog. And look, it's the Sheriff's Department from Twin Peaks. You know what I mean? Like, when I style it, I style it. If we're going to do it, I say to myself, we're going to do it right. That's why we have the Purple World or the Purple Room. We got our Dale Cooper, who is or is not a doppelganger. And, yeah. The Luxury Hybrid. I don't even watch Twin Peaks, but I love live chatting with you. Well, thank you, sweetie. But you should watch Twin Peaks. It's amazing. Nicolati. Richard is the dreamer. Twin Peaks was a dream of an FBI agent named Richard. I hope that's not the case, but if it is, that's what we got. David says, were you surprised that there was no Audrey these last 2 episodes? Yes, I was. I was really expecting to see Audrey again. Fog Dust, there will be more Audrey next season. Will there be a next season, guys? Josh Huffler, I feel like Evil Coop violated me. I feel like Lynch and Frost violated me. Richard's, in a good way. Richard Simpkins, the evolution of the arm is repeating what Audrey asked Charlie. Oh my God, you're right. Ooh, that's awkward. What could that mean? Strange Nothings. I think there are a lot of movie references. Remember that Doppelkoop stuck the fork in the wall after hearing the name Gordon Cole on on a movie on the television. Yes, that was Sunset Boulevard. Jacob Yarovsky, I think the bug swallower is Sarah's mother. The bug is Judy, who is born into Sarah. Ooh, possible. David says, I pray for a new season, Fog Dust. Abigail says, I doubt it, Audrey. This is why I think Audrey is Laura's tulpa. Fog Dust, oh, there will be, David, a new season. Trust and believe there will be a new season. Hope so. Plash Raman, HLW from you? From me? HLW? I'm not good in abbreviations. Forever Fragrant Kid, it was David Lynch who violated us, Josh. Ah, yeah, T, you and me both, we think the same. David, I think Audrey is in an institution and the Roadhouse scenes were her radio playing. Could be. Ashley, do you think this is going to be all just Audrey's dream or subconscious? No, I don't think it's all Audrey's dream, but partially could be. Fog Dust, yes, she is in a psych ward. Richard says, the real Cooper did create another Dougie because he doesn't have the luxury of staying with Dougie's family. Duty comes first for him. Yeah, but it's not like Dooger. Oh my God, guys, Dooger. I'm officially drunk. Dooger is my Dougie and Cooper together. Dooger would never do that. He wouldn't create a copy of himself. He would want to control the situation on his own. Dooger. Put that on a t-shirt, will ya? David says, bleh, Final Dossier. Not a Frost fan. I like Frost. Plash Raman says, your leaps are so nice. Leaps? Leaps? You mean lips? Thank you. Jacob, okay, so Lottie writes to Jacob, the bug could also be Laura in fetus form. Oh, jeez. John Michael Fink, I have Laura's diary. Ashley says, do the books end like this? Abigail, I honestly don't think it's Audrey's dream. Jacob says, true. Could be the origin of Laura, planted a generation early. We know Laura is the White Lodge's answer to Bob. Yeah, but we don't know, guys, if these, like, frog moths are good or bad. They seem evil because they're spewed from the mother, which seems to be Judy at this point. So the mother could be Judy. Ooh, we got it. The mother could be Judy, guys. What do you think? Let me read the comments. Okay, Nick is back. Nick, Julie Cruz is going crazy on Facebook. But Nick, is she going crazy in a good way or a bad way? Because I don't know, Nick, if you missed the part where I said, to me, Julie Cruz just got like 1 second screen time. I don't think that it was right. She should have been given more time and she should have been implemented in a scene that made more sense. That was more important to the whole plot line and storyline. Please Rewind says, the future is the past. Was episode 8 the answer to everything? I think so. It was the answer to everything in episode 8. It might not be the answer to everything by episode 18. Take it as you wish, this little tidbit of information. Richard says, Bob may have been destroyed, but in the past, where Cooper rescued Laura, Bob is still around. So in this new future timeline, Bob is still undefeated. Freddy never hit him in this new timeline. Bingo. I'm going to drink to that, Richard. Very well said. Joe says, so Laura doesn't get killed by Bob, but she disappears right walking Cooper. Where did she go? Back to normal life? High school? Doing drugs again? Bobby? James? We don't know. She might have been catapulted into the past where Cooper goes afterwards, or the future, or everything has changed in the present. Antonio's blog, has Judy taken the form of Sarah Palmer or taken over her and resides in the Palmer house, which is why Mr. C was trying to get there? Is that where Evil Coop was trying to go? We don't know, but we think Evil Coop was trying to find the mother. but we don't think that he understood that possibly the mother or a part of the mother or something relevant to the mother might have been in the Palmer house or even in Sarah. Lottie says, "Stop mind blowing me, ha ha ha." It's a mind blowing live stream, my dear. Abigail says, "I'm pretty sure the motel Diane and Dale have sex in is the same motel as the one Leland meets Teresa Banks." Yes. Okay, so people have said that that's the same motel. The Leland Palmer Teresa Banks motel is the motel from above the convenience store. Whether or not this is the same one yet again, also possible, but they were not in room 8, they were in room 7. I agree. Cooper and Diane, I think. Maybe I've seen that wrong. David says, "How about this? Cole isn't hard of hearing. He's always listening to the sounds." True. Very well put. Jacob says, "Oh my God, I wish I could chat face to face with you about this finale. The best way to find the truth is to have someone who liked it and someone who didn't come together and hammer out a theory. That would be amazing." I love the idea. Nick Solon says, "Julie Cruz has a channel suit on and being all depressing." Oh, not channel. Oh my God. Chanel. Really? Julie Cruz has a Chanel suit on and she's all depressed. Oh no, poor Julie Cruz. Dickbot420 says, "I don't even know what the chat is about, but it sure sounds happy." We're very happy and we're drinking, so welcome. We're done. Antonia's blog. Joe, did Laura's disappearance have to do with Sarah Palmer crushing the picture of Laura? Maybe, but I thought that, Sarah Palmer smashing the picture of Laura, maybe it was the entity inside of her trying to do that because the entity inside of her, maybe the mother inside of her, was super angry that Cooper found a way to save Laura after all. Who knows what it meant, though. Jacob says the Diane Cooper sex scene was about her reclaiming her sexuality after being violated by evil Coop. She was in control, as if it was something she had to do. Oh, that sounds very plausible. I agree. Fog Dust, sounds about right, Jacob. Holly Alley, yes. What was it with Sarah smashing the Laura photo? Melinda Cooper, don't chip your tooth again, LOL. Oh my God, no. I won't chip my tooth. I don't, Antonia says, "I don't think that is Sarah Palmer anymore. Is it? It's a weird hybrid of something." David Villaplando, I agree, Jacob, about the sex scene. Antonia says, "Not the real Sarah. Has to be another season." Fog Dust, yeah, what's going on with Sarah Palmer? Something has possessed her for sure. John says, yeah, why did she smash the Laura photo? David says, there could be multiple universes in which they insert Dale Cooper. In one where that version's Cooper was evil. Well, yeah, there's even a version where there's both Coopers at the same time, as we see in episode 18 and 18 or 19, 17 and 18. Ashley says, I definitely think Sarah is Judy. I think maybe a part of Judy is in Sarah, but I don't think Sarah is fully Judy. Metterpacker, the screen at the end freaked me out. David says, my favorite shot in the whole finale was the shot of the Judy's Diner sign. Awesome. I love that too. John says, me too. Fog Dust, that Laura Palmer scream always makes me crap my pants. Ryan says, Duggar, lol, right? Dougie Cooper, Duggar. Did I say Duggar or Duggar? Duggar or Duggar, both is good. Nick says, go check out Julie Cruz on Facebook. She's hating on Lynch big time. Oh no. But she hated on him. Then they had a falling out in the past. And then many years after that, she stated in an interview, she called him again to apologize. He apologized to her. She apologized to him. And now they're fighting again? So sad. Matterpacker JB says, wait, when they were driving to her old house, was the Double R Diner sign for Norma's? Or is it a different sign? No, it's no Double R to go anymore. It's just Double R. Richard says, Cooper specifically asked Mike to make something out of a seed and his own hair. This was definitely by Dale's request. Yeah, no, Richard, I know this was by Dale's request, but I just thought he was going to make like a double of himself to trick the evil Cooper. I was hoping he was going to do it for that reason and not for creating a Dougie for Janie E. You know what I mean? That's what I thought back in episode 16, and then in episode 17, unfortunately, that wasn't the case. My Packer says, was the sign at the diner different? Was it still Norma's Diner? It was a double R diner, but it wasn't double R to go anymore. Fog Dust, where did those homeless-looking creepy dudes come from? Though you mean the woodsmen? The woodsmen apparently, in one of the theories, they've been created after the first atomic bomb, the first nuclear explosion was set off by humans in the 40s. And then they created these kind of like nuclear particles, which are the woodsmen that are kind of evil. That's all the bad the men do. Jacob says, yeah, I'm 100% Judy is the mother. And the mother is Sarah, Laura's literal mother. Richard says, yes, I agree that Mother, Experiment, Judy appears to be the same entity. Jacob says, that's why I think the bug is connected to the mother. Well, the bug is connected to the mother because the mother spewed the eggs of the bug in the first place. Antonio says, I agree, Jacob, and since she is there, the house is where they are trying to get to, maybe? You mean the Palmer house? Well, that is Laura's house. Maybe in the past. Fog Dust says, got a light. Howard Ryle, was this to set up the third season? No, this was to end the third season. It might have been to set up the fourth season, though. Antonio says, remember the giant, the fireman, redirects Evil Coop from the Palmer house to the sheriff's office. Oh, yes, he does. And then, like, Evil Coop appears there. Right. Oh, my God. So that's the future and the past again? So Evil Cooper appears there, and then Andy's like, Agent Cooper, Agent Cooper. And notice that when Andy says Agent Cooper, that's the same type of voice, and maybe they even dubbed it the same way as he does in season 2. When the beginning of season 2, when Cooper is on the floor, he's been shot at the end of season 1. A very Dallas, who shot JR. You know, they were kind of making reference to that. Cooper wakes up and Andy's like, Agent Cooper, was that scene when, yeah, Andy was like, Agent Cooper. Oh no, Agent Cooper Andy was on the phone calling Agent Cooper. He was repeating it all the time. And we get that kind of same thing now with Andy repeating Agent Cooper outside in the broad daylight as the fake Cooper, the doppelganger Cooper, or Mr. C arrives to the sheriff's station. Pink Hornet. There were 2 reality switches with Diane and Dale. They enter the Leland Teresa motel, and Richard leaves a 2-story motel in the future, plus the music from episode 8 played with D&D. Did whatever. I mean, a lot happened, guys. A lot happened. And if this is all we're ever going to get in our lifetimes of Twin Peaks, geez, in that case, I'm really going to have to watch especially episode 17 and 18 like 50,000 times. Jacob says also the horse is emblematic of the mother, the white of the eyes and the dark within. And who sees the horse? Sarah. And all the woodsmen have the white in their eyes. Their eyes are so white and they're so dark everywhere else and within. Richard says, here's a screenshot of the gas pricing. It looks like in the 2.xx range. Okay, then the link, I can't see it right now, sorry. Fog Dust, I want a gold shovel for my birthday. I was hoping that Dr. Amp and Nadine would like kind of use their gold shovels to dig out Laura Palmer's grave and see that Laura Palmer was never in that grave to begin with. You know what I mean? I was expecting something like that. Didn't happen. Pink Hornet, it's called The Prayer and was playing on the radio at the end of episode 8. Plus, fingers over Dale's face reminded me of Nido. Joe Wood, the song in episode 8 where the woodsman goes into the radio station is the same song during the sex scene in the motel. Abigail says, apparently Julie Cruz posted a massive spoiler. Oh dear, good that I didn't see that, but now I can go and watch it after I'm done with the live stream. David says, isn't the Laura photo smashed in the original run? Maybe it needs to be smashed in all realities. Maybe, but that's the way I would think if I would be playing a Zelda game. You know what I mean? I would have that logic, but I don't think Lynch ticks to that logic. Fog Dust, after this, watch the David Lynch Weather Report classic. PM, Fog Dust, can you sub me? Abigail, but maybe the Dougie Tulpa is how Coop could go back to the right timeline. I just think he wanted Janie E and Sonny Jim to have a good life. Elodie says, supporting the Sarah Mother theory, I found a channel on YouTube which compares several scenes of Twin Peaks all together, and one of them is a parallel between Sarah drinking at home and the woodsman. There was a fire in Twin Peaks many decades ago that killed a bunch of loggers. Many think they became the woodsmen. But the woodsmen were created in the 40s. Unless something didn't burn in the 40s in Twin Peaks. But Twin Peaks wasn't that big in the 40s. I don't know. But either way, we won't know. All we have is speculation left for us until eventually, possibly, season 4 would air. Listen, supporting the Sarah is the mother, Sarah Palmer being the mother theory. I support it up to a certain extent. I do believe that it was so strange. Like after we think Laura is really alive, Sarah Palmer literally freaks out, smashes the picture as if she doesn't want her to be alive, as if she's angry that Laura is alive again and back again. That's how it felt to me. So it felt really awkward to me. So something inside of Laura definitely gives me vibes that Sarah is not happy that Laura is alive. David asks, really a good question. Why is room 315 below ground level? I don't know. It never was in the past. Now things have changed. Now all of a sudden that key unlocks something underneath the Great Northern Hotel instead of Cooper's original room. That was very confusing for me too. Lottie says, episode 8, talking about drinking and letting evil come in. The fact is that it coincides with every camera changes between Sarah drinking. Very fascinating. I'm gonna have to relook. I'm gonna have to rewatch episode 8, talking about drinking and letting evil come in. The fact is that it coincides with every camera change between Sarah drinking. Wow, I have to see that again. Fogg says, bring back Leo Johnson. Well, we saw him for a little bit. Lottie says, we don't know if he died or not in that spider incident at the end of season 2 with Wyndham Earl. Stona Raptor says, Julie Cruz isn't happy at all. She claims David Lynch on purpose cut her short in this season. Listen, I didn't even know Julie Cruz said that, and I felt the same way. I felt they castrated her, and it's such a shame, such a shame. Jacob says, I think the woodsmen are the Dugpas. Richard says, it's time to reread the history of Twin Peaks. I've been rereading it the past days. Eileen says, as I watched season 3, I kept thinking how it didn't feel scary like the first season, which is better for me and my sleep, lol. I think because, Eileen, we were kids back then when we watched season 1 and 2. That's why it scared us more than season 3 scares us now when we're kind of grown-ups. Richard says, the gold shovel brought Norma and Ed together. It did its job. I think that means we're done with that. I guess, well, you're obviously right because the last episode aired. Jocelyn says, what did I just watch? Twin Peaks, the finale of season 3. Richard says, It also brought Nadine and Dr. Amp together. That's one productive shovel. True. Jocelyn says, Laura who? Fog Dust, bring back Harold Smith, LOL. Well, didn't he die? Abigail says, absolutely, Jacob, I always thought Coop would die in the end. Richard says, I think those loggers died even longer ago than the 40s, like turn of the century. If I recall, it's in the history of Twin Peaks. Yeah, all right. Possible. So they were there already before the nuclear explosions. Forever Fragrant Kid says, to stone a raptor, her scene did seem oddly cut short, referring to Julie Cruz. Jacob says, in the original draft of the season 2 finale, the Black Lodge was supposed to be a black and white version of the Great Northern. This episode definitely has shades of that. True. I agree. It does. Fog Dust says, bring back Josie. Abigail says, yeah, we didn't hear about Wyndham Earl, nor Annie, nor Leo. We did hear about Annie from the past when Hawk references her, but no mention of Annie in the present time. Richard says, that scene with Sarah does parallel the woodsman's radio communications. In fact, she's drinking deeply in that scene, often right as they say, drink deep. Look it up on YouTube. Wonderful. I'm going to have to check that out. Thanks for pointing that out, Richard. Drake says, do you think Sarah Palmer was the one who ate the frog moth centipede thing in episode 7? In episode 8, we don't know. A lot of people think it was her. A lot of people think it wasn't her. Lottie Barossa says, Leo died from the spiders as it is written on episode script. Okay. But it was never filmed, I guess. Jacob says, I think Coop has always known he was doomed, and that's why he had such zest for life. He lived in the moment like each could be his last. And Annie was a big disappointment in this season. Abigail says, Wyndham Earl is kind of a big character to hear nothing about. Fog Dust, Annie is Dougie's wife, Jeannie E? Is that her name? Janie E. No, that's not Annie. But in an alternate universe, it could have been Annie. David says, any theories on the Tremonts at the Palmer house in relation to the trailer in Fire Walk With Me and the trailers? The only thing I can think about is that now they're in the past. Cooper went all the way in the past, too much in the past. And the past knows that in the future, Cooper saves Laura. So the lodges, or the Black Lodge, is fighting to prevent that from happening. So the Tremonts moved into the Palmer house before the Palmers move into the house. That's the only thing I could kind of, right now, right after seeing the episodes, could think about. But maybe there's a totally different theory I might come up with in a couple of days or weeks. Abigail, it wasn't confirmed, but that would be cool. Fog Dust, that Annie is Dougie's Janie E. wife. That would be cool. Richard says, this live chat is like therapy after all that new mystery and trauma. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it feels like therapy to me too. Antonius agrees there has to be another season. We got to have Annie and Harry Truman back. Jacob says, Wyndham Earl was... Oh, by the way, Harry Truman did not die, thank God. So there's still a chance he might beat the disease. He might beat cancer, and he might be back for season 4, if there is a season 4. But we do hope there will be. Jacob says, Wyndham Earl was consumed by the lodge. His soul is gone forever. Fog Dust says, interesting. Jacob says the Chalfonts and the Tremonts could be looking out for Laura in Coop's return. Maybe. Drake says, I thought Diane and Coop hooking before the universe change was beautiful. It was just two old friends who knew everything would change, sharing a last moment with each other. Yeah, but Cooper didn't seem to be so happy about it as Diane was. Friends with benefits. It's all good, but both have to be kind of really wanting it. I don't know. It felt like Diane was more in it than Coop. No pun intended. Jacob says, and now that they are back, the lodge will come for them. Richard says, creamed corn kid's grandmother is alternately named Tremont and Chalmont in various tellings. That both families have owned the Palmer house seems like a big clue about them, definitely. Jacob says, no, Harry next season, sadly. The actor has sworn off the business. He might change his mind. You never know. Michael Lane, season 3 was a way to undo Laura's murder and thus undo the forced solution of it in season 2. We're back at the intended ending that leaves all the questions. Or Lynch is trolling. Ryan says, good riddance to Wyndham Earl. I thought that portrayal was terrible. Lottie Barroso says, why isn't anybody talking about Donna Hayward? Because she ain't in it. She ain't in the show anymore. Fogdust, are you in Miami, Jacob? I'm in the purple room, in the purple world. Stoner Raptor and Michael Lane, damn, you're right. I forgot that the network forced Lynch to reveal who killed Laura. David says, amen, Ryan. Earl wasn't interesting to me. Abigail, I always thought when watching the original season that the old women got younger and that her name, older, was her married name. So the second time Donna sees her, she's younger and has a different name. Interesting. That could be the case. Richard says the actor who played Harry was enthusiastic about returning to the show until suddenly he wasn't. So some suspect a health reason. I don't know. I hope it's not a health reason. I hope he's healthy. David says, how much of the Laura footage was CGI? It was very impressive to watch. Well, I guess that's one of the reasons why they did it in black and white. It's easier to do the morphing to make her look younger or whatever. But it was great to see. I love the footage. Abigail says, I personally hated Donna so much. She was only good in Fire Walk with Me, and her whole storyline was pretty worthless in season 2. Eileen says, the Wyndham Earl angle didn't impress me in season 2. Jacob says, the Tremont and Chalfonts have to be the key to the mystery. Well, they definitely are some sort of key because they're mentioned all the way through. So, Drake says, what was Laura whispering to Coop on the credit roll? It's like the answer to everything is in front of us, but we can't hear it. Fantastic. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It's exactly what it was. Because as Laura in season 2 whispers to Cooper, and finally we get the answer to her dream whispering to him, my father killed me. Now we have her whispering to him, but there's no resolution. We don't know what she whispered to him. And yes, that was fantastic. Schmadfin says, seeing Cheryl Lee in the old Laura wig reminds us of why Lara Flynn Boyle didn't come back. Not trying to be mean. Abigail says, I bet Laura whispered the dream quote to Coop. Jacob says, Laura whispered something that horrified him. Richard says, poor Bobby never gets to confront Red and win Shelley back. That seems like a big loose end. I agree. Abigail says, we are like the dreamers who live inside the dream, but who is the dreamer? Fogdust, the 3 pink ladies need to come out with a song. The Fembots, Candy, Mandy, Sandy, or Sandy, Candy, and Mandy, they should come out with a song. What about Becky? Antonius asks. Stephen might have killed her. We don't know. Jacob says, whatever she said, it was foreshadowing the horror of the ending moments. But he forgot, just like last time. So he still brought her back, despite the fact that she told him what horrors were to come if he did bring her back. If Cooper did bring back Laura. And Cooper did bring back Laura. And something terrible did happen. Stoner Raptor says, yeah, what about Becky? She was just kind of gone. Richard says, Candy is the new Lucy. Abigail says, I honestly thought Becky would be a Laura parallel before I knew the term tulpa. I thought she'd be a tulpa. Peter Mensky, did we ever figure out who Billy is? Billy could have been William Hastings, but we're not sure about that. Fogdust says 97% charged. Yes. Well, maybe that's the Cooper's, like not Cooper fully anymore. Ricky says, do you remember how disappointed you were last week when you thought they were being too upfront with all the answers. Lol. Simpler times. Well, Ricky, I was not upset about it. I was saying that they delivered stuff to us on a silver platter, but not in terms of answers of these deeper questions, but in terms of resolving plot lines to certain characters that they wanted to get rid of quickly. And I still agree, and I think that that was too easy. You know, the way Richard was just gone, just like that. Um, it just didn't seem right to me. Abigail, that's absolutely true. Jacob Yavrosky, you know your stuff. Um, Otobach, thank God, a place where people are talking about this. Are you happy or not? I'm happy and I'm not happy. Some aspects are incredible. Some aspects left me disappointed. I'm just honest about it. So Drake says, I've heard that Billy might be the guy in the jail cell. He might be, but a lot of people think it's not him. Jacobs, a lot of people think it's a tulpa because he's just repeating everything everybody else says, very much like Dougie. Jacob says, random observation. No one but Chet saw the drunk bleeding guy. No one at all. Oh, that's interesting. I'm so happy Chet got banged in his head. So annoying. Oh, and the reference to Leo Johnson's boot and the heel that opens up and there's a secret hidden in the heel of the... That's so Leo Johnson. We got Chet doing the same thing. Having the key to the... Like, how did Chet know he might get locked in a prison cell? So he prepared the key in the heel of his shoe for just in case. Richard says, Becky's capacity to love such an abusive person was such a great mix of purity and tragedy. I thought for sure she was the new Laura. Abigail says, that's true. I don't think Freddie even commented on him. Yeah, so I guess nobody saw him except for the freak, the douchebag police officer. Jacob says, like the drunk was Chet's personal demon there to torment him. And that's a poetic vision. Drake says, yeah, that is weird. That guy lost a lot of blood, haha. C.E. Quick says, I'm going to miss Charlie. Abigail says, I almost thought that Chet played the jail cell guy as well for a moment. Oh. From like part 3? Or 2? When William Hastings was in prison? Fog Dust and that eyeless woman could sense Cooper was in the room. Oh, she sensed that evil Cooper was there. Richard says, I know it's a dubious theory, but I suspect the drunk might be the evolution of Waldo. The bird from season 1 that Leo shot. He serves the same function. Well, no, Waldo delivered us a certain truth we didn't know, but this guy in the prison cell didn't really... who knows? Maybe. Drake says the town of Twin Peaks was absolute chaos the last few days of the chronology, like that random lady that wouldn't stop honking at Bobby in front of the diner. True. Antonius needed more Amanda Seyfried. Jacob says British guy and James were freaked out by the blind girl, but not the bleeding guy. He wasn't really there. Only Chet could see him. Drake says there was just an anxiety around the town. Jacob says, oh, Waldo, oh my God, yes, Abigail, the drunk looked similar to Chet. Fur Fragrant Kid, Richard, nice theory. Fog Dust, I hope the Simpsons do a Twin Peaks finale episode. Oh, I love when the Simpsons do like little tiny spin-offs of Twin Peaks or references. It's so cute. Antonia says, haha, Waldo, okay, maybe. Richard says, Waldo repeats what he hears. So does the drunk. Yeah, so does Dougie. So was Dougie Waldo all along? Tulpa Dougie was a Waldo Tulpa Dougie. So when Waldo was shot, they took the feathers of Waldo, combined that with a little bit of DNA of Cooper. And there you have it. Dougie is born. Melinda says, poor little Dougie. Poor little Waldo. Melinda says, poor little Waldo. I'm drunk, guys. So Fog does good night, Jacob. Thanks for the chat. Good night, folks. So guys, farewell from San Francisco. Guys, actually, I'm gonna end it too because we've been like doing over 2 hours, and the time has come to say good night. Jacob says, I think that the evil chickens have come home to roost, so to speak, which is why the town started going to hell as the horror grew nearer. Thank you, everybody, so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Your comments are incredible. The chat was so much fun. This last chat session as Series 3 comes to an end was incredible. I would love to thank Invisible Girl 422, our Debbie. She was the moderator tonight. She was keeping the purple room safe from doppelgangers. She was cleansing us from spam chats, and she did a wonderful job. Thank you so much, Debbie. Again, you are our golden ball with Laura in it. You are our savior. You know, subbing now. Jacob has subbed. Thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome to the Purple Room family. Now, listen, guys. Just the fact that Twin Peaks has ended does not mean we're finishing. If you're interested, and not just in the chat comment here, but let me know in the comment section down below if you want more videos, because we could do a lot more Twin Peaks related stuff. I just need to know that you want to see it. If you want to see it, we can talk more and chat more. Otherwise, up until that moment, stay tuned. Check out my channel for more Twin Peaks videos and other videos, all sorts of topics related. Because you know I have a variety of topics. I always like to switch it up and keep it fresh and in evolution, the evolution of the arm. What can I say? We drank the bottle together. We've done these live chats together for these past weeks. It was incredible. We built a wonderful community, so much respect, so much love for one another, so much, I don't know, it just feels right to me. It feels like when we're here, we're in a safe place. We can say what we think about these episodes, debate it together with much respect for one another. And it just felt home to me, you know. It's not like I'm surrounded by people that love Twin Peaks in my everyday life. I don't really have many people to talk about this. I have you guys to talk about this. So thank you so much for allowing me to kind of share my enthusiasm and passion with you. I know the last 2 episodes were a bit off-putting in a way. I'm probably going to grow to appreciate them more and more with time. It's something I have to digest. It's going to take its time. Nevertheless, I love Twin Peaks. I always have and I always will. You know, you can't love every detail about it, but nevertheless, you know what I mean? We love our Twin Peaks. We love our community. We love how caring we are of one another and how respectful we are of one another. I think that's so beautiful about this particular community here, on my channel at least, because I can't speak for others. So yes, so Debbie says, yes, this has been special for sure. Awesome community. I don't see this elsewhere. Abigail says, awesome community. Jacob says, I love Twin Peaks and the fandom. More videos would be amazing. Forever Fragrant Kid, I'm forever grateful to you, Jacob. Thank you so much, T. I'm grateful to you too. I am grateful for you. You brought me to Twin Peaks. Yes, you discovered it. Thank God you did. It's amazing. Jeff says, Eternal Recurrence. Read J. Dyer and check out, is Laura doomed to read live her nightmare again and again? Well, maybe. You never know. Melinda says, Twin Peaks forever. SPF 50, season 4 could be about magicians and 2 worlds. Chalfont and Tremonts seem to be a key between 2 worlds. Let's end it on that, guys. We have our 2 worlds. We have our Laura. We have our Dale. And everything is possible. Everything is possible. Love you all. Take care. Sleep well or have a good day, depending if you're in Australia, or in America, in Europe, in Africa, Antarctica, wherever you are, guys. Love you so much. Take care. See you soon. Bye. Mwah.